Hello there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library. And you may notice we've got a little bit of a different background here today. We are actually filming from the library. I brought Topaz here. We've got some amazing books to talk to you about today with a fabulous library backdrop behind us, which is super fun. So the two books I want to talk to you about today are very, very, very special to me for a few different reasons. So first, we are right up against the end of October. Okay, we've got Halloween this weekend. You may be looking for a couple last minute like spooky books to read. You may be thinking about different things you want to read to enjoy this season even more. And that is what I want to talk to you about today, are these books that I think you will enjoy, particularly for spooky season. But they are special also because I think they can be enjoyed. I mean, I know I will enjoy them throughout the year again and again, but I think they can be enjoyed not just in the confines of spooky season. I think you can read them whenever and wherever. So, what books am I talking about? The first book is actually a nonfiction book, which is called Why I Love Horror, Essays on Horror Literature. And it is edited by Becky Spiegel. And it is filled to the brim with different testimonials from all kinds of different horror authors. The next book I'm going to talk to you about is called King Sorrow by Joe Hill. Joe Hill, you may or may not know, is Stephen King's son. And he is a prolific author in his own right, but this is his first actual full-length book in almost a decade. And he's written lots of books of short stories in between then, and he's worked on other projects, but this is his first book in a long, long time. So why did I say that these books are special to me? So first of all, you will probably be surprised to know that I'm recommending a nonfiction book. I don't do that often on this channel. It's not that I don't like nonfiction, it's just not my immediate go-to for reading. Unless it's like a very specific, like niche subject I'm really excited about, I usually don't gravitate towards it. So the reason I gravitated towards this, and it also really links into Joe Hill's new book too, is this book, I listened to the author actually, or to the editor rather, Becky Spiegel, interview Joe Hill back over the summer when I was at the American Library Association conference in Philadelphia. So I got to listen to Joe Hill speak about this book. This book just came out last week. But I got to read it over the summer because I was very lucky to get a couple copies of it. But she also was talking about this book that was coming out this fall, and it hooked me, listening to her talk about it, and I was very, very excited to find out more. So I think this is a really great book. The Why I Love Horror is really great for anybody that is interested in horror. So if you're a person who already loves this genre, if you are constantly up to date with all the new stuff coming out, and you loved reading all kinds of different horror subgenres and tropes and things like that, you're gonna love this book because there are so many amazing authors that have actually contributed to this. So we've got, just to name a few, Hailey Piper. I'm just gonna list some of the ones that I was the most excited about. Hailey Piper, Tananarive Due, Josh Mallerman, Paul Tremblay, Grady Hendrix, Rachel Harrison, Stephen Graham Jones, among many, many others. And they also talk about in this book, each one of these authors talk about why they are drawn to the genre. And they also give a lot of read-alikes, which is where the editor comes in. Before each author, she talks about, if you're just starting with this author, this is the first book of theirs you should read. And if you're looking for something similar to them, here's another author. So you will come out of this book with so many different book recommendations. So this is going to be good for people who are already into the genre because they're going to be familiar with these names. But it's also really a good book for people who are just looking to dip their toe into horror, because this is a great starting point. If you're like, you know what, I kind of want to try this genre, I don't know a lot about it, I don't know who to start with or what to do, perfect. This is the perfect book. And it's very short. It's not very long at all. I read it and absolutely, absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So I have so many different notes and highlights throughout this book because there were so many things I wanted to remember and so many different quotes. But the one thing I do want to read to you was from the introduction, which was from Becky Spiegel, when she's talking about Why this genre? Because I do feel like horror gets a bit of a bad rap. People very automatically want to say, oh, why do you subject yourself to scary stuff? And, oh, I couldn't do that. And, this or that and this and that. But horror has been proven, statistically, through studies and stuff, the genre of horror has been proven to build empathy, specifically. It is proven to build resilience in its readers. There was a study done after COVID that the people who were the most mentally resilient when COVID was happening over other readers were horror readers. Because we've already read this stuff. We've already survived these things in books. And it helped us build fortitude, which is really, really cool. So I just want to read this little tiny paragraph from the introduction, which I think you will really enjoy. Horror has always felt like the language my soul speaks when no one else is listening. Horror understands what it means to carry fear in your bones, not as something to be embarrassed about, but as something that shapes you into who you really are. For someone timid, for someone who knows the weight of fear day in and day out, horror offers an unexpected refuge. Horror takes all my restless anxieties, the ones that simmer just beneath the surface, and gives them form. It allows me to face them on my terms, in the safety of a story. Horror is empowering for someone like me. I can step into the fire willingly, feeling the heat, the danger, but knowing that it's contained. A story can push me to the brink and pull me back. I witness characters enduring horrors far worse than my own struggles and trials. And if they can do this, so can you. Powerful stuff, right? Phenomenal book if you are a nonfiction reader or not even a nonfiction reader like me, a huge one. I think there's something for you to love here. Okay, so now let's talk about Joe Hill's new book. Like I said, came out just a week ago. Probably been seeing it advertised because it's getting a lot of hype. I was very, very lucky to have read it over the summer when it came out. And okay, I'm going to show you something, but I don't want you to be scared. This is a chunkster of a book, okay? It's almost, I want to say almost 900 pages, okay? Don't run away. Don't run away screaming. I promise it is worth it. This book is absolutely fantastic. So it's about a dragon, first of all. Now you know the other reason why this book is so special to me, because not only is it written by Stephen King's son, who if you have followed this channel for a while, or if you know me, you know how obsessed and in love with Stephen King I am. So I, by proxy, love Joe Hill as well. But this book is so incredible because it is about a dragon. And yes, Joe Hill writes horror books, but this I would consider more to be like a dark fantasy, kind of tipping the toes on the line of horror, but it's kind of straddling between dark fantasy and horror. This is the first book about a dragon that I've actually been scared of the dragon. I'm usually, obviously, I love dragons, right? But this one scared me. King Sar the dragon was very scary. So what is this book about? Why is it almost 900 pages? So this is about a group of friends, predominantly the main character, Arthur, who is a young man going to college in Maine in the 90s. And he has this really fantastic group of friends. He's got this group of him and 4 other friends and this girl that he loves, Gwen, who joins the friend group as well. And everything is going great. This college that he goes to, Rackham College in Maine, is just absolutely wonderful. His life is good. However, in the beginning of the story, through circumstances that you will read about if you choose to read it, he begins getting blackmailed by this particularly horrible couple of people. They have something on him that they will use to exploit. And what they want him to do for them, because he works in the college library, is they want him to steal rare manuscripts and books for them to sell. As a librarian, I can't think of anything more horrifying than that. So Arthur doesn't know what to do. He's trapped. He's backed up against the wall. So what do you do when you're trapped? When you don't know what to do or what's going on? You talk to your friends, right? You bring it to your friend group. So he brings it to his friend group. So you've got Arthur, who is the main character. You've got Colin. You've got Donovan and Donna, Allison, and then Gwen. Gwen is the love interest. So he takes it to his friends, and his friend Colin, who has basically sort of a rich, bougie sort of upbringing, says, hey, we're gonna mess around. I've got this book, this manuscript from my uncle's library that basically is filled with all these spells and stuff. We're gonna use it to summon a dragon to do our bidding. And we're gonna have this dragon take care of these people who are trying to blackmail you. And Arthur's like, yeah, okay, sure. I don't believe in any of this. Everybody's kind of like, whatever. This is just a silly thing. It's going to make us feel better, maybe. So they do this spell. They do this ceremony, this ritual to bring this dragon in. And the dragon comes. King Sorrow, the dragon, comes. And basically they say, okay. He ties himself to these people, this group of friends. And they say, all right, take care of this problem. And he does. But what they don't realize is that this is not the end of the story for King Sorrow, because not only did they enter into a pact with him for him to take care of this issue, but they entered into a lifelong pact with him, which means they have to give him a sacrifice every year. They have to pick somebody for him to kill, because if they don't, he's going to kill one of them. So now you've got these 6 college students, these 6 young people who thought that they were doing something good, a one-and-done situation, getting their friend out of this trouble, who are now entangled in this lifelong pact with this evil dragon, and they have to decide every year who they're going to pick to die. Think about that. You might think on the surface, oh, that's easy. I would pick murderers. I'd pick terrorists. I'd do this or that. Well, who are you to decide who deserves to die or who doesn't deserve to die? And how would that weigh on you year after year after year and after year? And that is the brilliance of this book. Because yes, this is the story of a dragon, and the dragon is scary, and the dragon does terrible things. But this is also really the story of a group of friends who have to make a terrible choice over and over and over again, and the way it eats at their humanity. So the reason why this book is so big, I'm thinking, in my humble reader's opinion, is because we obviously start at the beginning, when King Sorrow, when all this is happening in the very beginning, but then we are following these characters throughout the course of their lives and watching how this is starting to tear apart them internally, but also starting to tear apart the fabric of their relationships with each other as well. And watching these people go through this was such an incredible, flawed, like humbling experience, because this book is just much like his father. Joe Hill is so fantastic at just writing people and understanding what makes people tick and writing about them. And that's what I loved most about this book. Yes, I loved the dragon. The dragon was amazing. I love King Sorrow, even though he's evil and terrible. Loved him. But what I loved more than that was reading about these friends and their choices and their decisions and their relationships with each other. And that was the real gem of this book. So I would really recommend, I would urge you, even if you are a person that doesn't like really big books, even if you are a person that doesn't really like horror or doesn't like fantasy, or you don't think this is for you, I promise there's something you're going to love about this book. The writing is amazing. Joe Hill is a fantastic writer. The story is great. It's very engaging. Almost 900 pages, and I wasn't bored once. Everything was fantastic. So, like I said, this is a great book to read this time of year. I read it in the summer and loved it, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're looking for something you want to start before spooky season is officially over, give this one a try. Even like I said, if it's not genres that you normally are drawn to, I think there is something here for you to love. Absolutely. King Sorrow by Joe Hill. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that these books sound really incredible and just amazing and so much fun, and that you're interested in them. If so, please feel free to come and check them out from Farmington Community Library. You can put them on hold or just come in and pick them up. And thank you so very much for watching, friends. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.